And one day someone said to me that I should try CBD. CB what? Like, what even is that? So I tried it, and it was a total game changer for me personally. Really, really, really interesting how CBD can affect the skin. There's this lovely opportunity to be able to help people through CBD. So that was kind of where OTO was born.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Catch Ups in My Kitchen with me, Georgia Simmons, host of the podcast. This podcast is about all things food, health and wellness, and in my kitchen this week, I am joined by Gemma, the founder of OTO, the CBD wellness brand, which is bringing a little bit of calm into our everyday. Now, stress is the biggest killer, and we are all way too stressed. We are stressing about the future, we're stressing about the present, we're stressing about the past. We have information coming at us from all angles, and it's just so overwhelming. And our bodies actually just don't function in high stress situations. So OTO is here to kind of bring the calmness into your everyday, whether it's through skincare, through drinks, through balms, through droplets. OTO have kind of got products for every single situation. And I loved speaking to Gemma about the importance of calm, whether that is sleep, whether it helps the menopause. CBD is an incredible ingredient. And I think we are all a little bit scared of it because it is linked to cannabis, and we do think, oh my God, we're going to get high if we suddenly have CBD, but we will not. So in this episode, we deep dive onto all things CBD, the powers of it, the benefits, and also about Gemma's journey with OTO and the legalities of starting the business, the barriers she had to go through. I think starting a business is such a challenge anyway, but within the CBD world, there are just so many barriers. So this was a super interesting episode. And if you're so into your wellness and are always looking for new ways to kind of feel the best version of you, then this episode is definitely for you. So before we get into it, I'd love to ask you to please rate the podcast. It really helps us grow, get amazing guests on, such as Gemma, and also helps our production and just get it out to more people. So thank you so much in advance. Share this with friends, share it with families, give us a rating, and I hope you enjoy the episode. Gemma, welcome to my kitchen. It's so nice to have you here. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's so nice to be here. I absolutely love your kitchen.
Thank you so much.
Gorgeous art. Fabulous.
You. Do you mind giving a really quick elevator pitch? Who you are, what you do?
Excellent. Yeah, of course. So my name's Gemma Colao, and I'm the founder of OTO Wellbeing. And what we do at OTO is we try and bring people back to balance through different wellness products. So the word OTO actually means sound in Japanese. It's actually a very specific word that means the space between sound and silence. And what we're trying to do as a brand is help people find their space. I think the modern world is pretty crazy, pretty hectic, pretty busy, and we're all trying to find that moment of silence or calm or collectiveness within us. So what we try and do is create a world of wellness products that fit seamlessly into your lifestyle for people to help them find their space.
I love that. I'm actually such a CBD lover now.
Excellent.
But it did take me a while, and we'll go into it. I'll explain my little journey. But I was a bit scared of it for a while, and then I tried it and I was like, I now completely understand it. So I'm so excited to speak about all of this in more detail. But before we do, we have a quick fire round about all things food. Just to kick
Fabulous.
things off. Yeah, why not? We love
My
it.
favourite subject.
Likewise. Okay, so cook in or eat out?
Eat out.
Favourite restaurant in London?
God, that's really difficult,
I
and
know.
one I should have definitely researched. The thing is, I've got 2 children, so I don't really get to go out very much anymore.
Yeah, it's hectic.
So we normally go to High Road House just in Chiswick, and it's just like a basic local, which is nice.
What's your go-to Deliveroo?
It's really bad. Nando's.
Don't worry,
really
honestly,
bad.
most people say Nando's on
Really?
here. Yeah, it's
I didn't even used to like Nando's before, but now it's like that. Or sushi.
Yeah.
I love sushi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, agree. Okay, go-to cuisine.
Go-to cuisine, Italian.
Yeah, likewise, I think. Your go-to fridge or cupboard staple, which isn't the basics?
Sesame seed oil.
Oh, yeah,
Love
completely.
that. Brilliant for marinades.
Yeah, anything
Fantastic.
Asian-y,
Yeah.
it's just perfect.
Yeah.
And your favourite dish to cook at home?
I'm absolutely obsessed with salads at the moment. I'm really trying to up my salad game. So my new favourite salad is watermelon salad with red onions, but you marinate the red onions with sugar and balsamic vinegar. Delish. You don't even have to do it for long. You can do it for like an hour and it's still yum. And then you sprinkle those through it, and then loads of fresh mint, and then crumpled feta cheese.
I mean, that sounds like
It's
heaven.
yum.
Yeah.
And you can do it with peas as well. You can swap out the watermelon for the peas. Delish.
Oh my God, amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so I'd like to start by asking you about your journey to discovering CBD. Where did it come into your life?
So for me, the journey started in the US. So my background's fashion, and I worked in fashion for a really, really long time, and found it fantastic. Loved the travel, loved the people, but found it quite overwhelming and quite stressful at times. Tiny bit Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah.
And basically, I found myself in California working in the fashion industry, really overwhelmed, really, really stressed. And one day someone said to me that I should try CBD. This is going back quite a while now. So at the time, I was completely ignorant and said, CB what? Like, what even is that? And I think they said, oh, it's cannabis. And I was like, what? Cannabis?
How dare you suggest I need that?
I don't do drugs. But then she said, no, it doesn't get you high. It's not like THC. It's really good for you. It's been around for ages. You should try it. I went home, I researched it. I realized that I was completely ignorant and that it had been around for a really long time and that there was loads of research into it. So I thought, well, I'll give it a go. I love natural remedies and solutions anyway. So anything that's from nature that people have been using for centuries, I'm like, yes, let's try it. So I tried it, and it was a total game changer for me personally. Like, the first thing I noticed was that I started sleeping better. And I think, when you're sleeping better, everything is a little bit easier. I was waking up at like 3 a.m, going through all the lists of all the things that I hadn't done or I needed to do, and then waking up feeling tired and rubbish. So that was kind of the first thing. And then the next feeling for me was almost like an absence of something. So it was kind of like, I didn't feel like, oh, I don't feel stressed anymore. It was just that everything felt a bit easier. So that was like amazing. And so basically I became obsessed with CBD, because obviously why wouldn't you if it makes you feel that much better? I discovered that it had amazing skincare properties. I obviously, like, your skin is your biggest organ. I think we all forget that. And I just couldn't believe how much it could help your skin. So I started using it myself, and managed to like cure my own hormonal acne from CBD, which was insane.
Wow.
And I tried everything. I tried all the like hardcore drugs. I tried everything, and it was just horrible. So that was amazing. Then I had my little boy. So I have a little American. Yep, very cute. He associates with being an American.
Oh, sweet.
Yep, we took him to America. He said it was the best day of his life. Yep. It's very funny. And we came back to the UK, and that kind of coincided with CBD becoming legal here, which obviously was fantastic, because I was like, oh, this is great. I've become really reliant on it, I guess, or at least it supported my lifestyle. I wanted my sister to try it. I wanted my mum to try it. Toddled on down to the high street, looked for something to try, and was really disappointed, I guess, and shocked by what was out there. Most of the products had no CBD in to actually work, and were just rubbish, basically. I mean, they smelt horrible and tasted revolting, and nothing that I'd want to gift anyone. And for me, I was just felt like it was such a shame, because there was this lovely opportunity to be able to help people through CBD. So that was kind of where OTO was born. It was very much a desire to help people experience the power of CBD and be able to give them all the benefits that I'd experienced, but in a really beautiful way. I wanted them to fall in love with the products. I wanted them to fit beautifully into their lifestyle, and I didn't want it to be work. I wanted it to be just seamless.
I love that. And I think you're so right. There was a period of time where like CBD was kind of this earthy, hippie,
Yes.
odd thing. And I remember someone also saying to me, you should try CBD. And I was like, absolutely not. I'm a massive control freak. Why would I want to do that?
Yes.
I love being hyperactive and on it at all times. And it wasn't until I began researching more into it that I realized that actually this could be something that might benefit me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until probably last year, or even maybe a tiny bit in the year before, that I started using it, and I was like, it's literally the same as you. I was like, oh wow. And you don't
Amazing.
feel like it's a subtle change,
Yep.
but it's a huge change at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's like that kind of angsty feeling is gone.
Yeah.
And you're like, you can't explain it. You just, like you say, you've kind of got to get people just to try it.
It's really interesting one. Like, we have people like write to me and say, oh my God, you've cured my sleep and I'm eternally grateful. But what we also find, because we do a sleep subscription, is that people will take the sleep subscription, they'll do the sleep drops for like a couple of months, and then suddenly they'll like stop taking them because they'll forget, because they're sleeping so much better. And then after like another 2 or 3 weeks, they're like, oh my God, something's wrong, I'm not sleeping again. And then they come back to it. So you almost notice it more when you kind of stop. So we have to keep people taking it regularly.
Yeah, completely. I want to kind of touch on that about routine, because I feel like also you have CBD products for like every part of your routine.
Yes.
And like this, like with OTO, I was like, wow, this is really interesting, because I know CBD from like a drink perspective, or like a drop perspective, but not a cream or an oil. So can we touch on your kind of discovery through that, and with that, like the absorption, because obviously if you're consuming it, I get that. Yeah. But like putting it on your skin, I was like, oh, this is a whole new world to me. So I'd love to hear more about that.
Definitely. I think that when we started OTO, we really, really wanted it to be this lifestyle brand that fitted into every stage of your day. So we spent quite a long time thinking about the moments during the day when somebody might benefit from CBD, whether it be a drink or a skincare or whatever it would be. And we actually came up with what we call like the virtual circle of the day, or the bell curve of the day, which is focus, amplify, and then balance. Obviously, focus is more like your moment of clarity. Maybe it's like when you're getting up and facing the tube in the morning, or you're doing your daily skincare routine. Amplify is like more that present moment. Maybe you'd crack open a little CBD drink instead of having a coffee, or maybe you'll want to feel like really present with your friends at a concert or something like that. Balance is obviously the easiest to explain. We all need balance at all times, and that feeds back into sleep, which then feeds back round to focus again in the morning. So when we design our products, we always design them within one of those moments, which kind of gives us a really clear way to say, well, what is the delivery mechanism then? Because, if you're looking for clarity or focus, you might be on a tube, you might not be able to whip out a dropper and drop a CBD under your tongue, and you might want to go with like a sublingual absorption or a transdermal absorption, something different. So, and then obviously if you're having a cream, you're going to be at home, you're going to be applying that cream. So it's really important to kind of think about what moment we'd be using it, what the delivery mechanism should be, what the other ingredients that support that feeling of calm or can help with your skincare. So for us, we've got a range of skincare, drinks, and also sublingual absorption, which is the drops which go under the tongue. So coming back to your question, sorry, for skincare, it is really, really, really interesting how CBD can affect the skin. And I think we get asked this all the time, because it's like, how can something help with sleep? How can it help with anxiety? How can it help with inflammation? And how can it help with skin? Surely that's like a snake oil, right? And I think the first thing to understand is that we all have an endocannabinoid system within us. So we all as humans produce cannabinoids, which is the molecule that is replicated in CBD. So basically when you're taking CBD, you're kind of supplementing something that your body is already naturally producing. And that endocannabinoid system is helping your body go back to balance or homeostasis. So basically it's helping with all of your hormone production. It's helping like regulate all your organs. It's helping for your body to be its best self. And I said that obviously skin is your biggest organ, and we have a hell of a lot of receptors in our skin, and all of those receptors produce different oils. When you've got any kind of skin condition, it's going to be trying to either heal that or make it better. There's a hell of a lot of inflammation which goes on in the skin, and that's where the CBD really, really comes into. I mean, CBD in itself is an amazing antioxidant and has incredible skincare benefits, but where it really differs from other ingredients is that it can work directly with the receptors in your skin to really tackle that inflammation, which means your skin and your body can manage any kind of whatever it is, whether it's a rash or whether it's just a bit of rosacea or anything like that. It can help really support that, which I think is what makes it really, really special. Like it's like inside out and outside in, which is really unusual.
Yeah, and I've never really heard of CBD in skincare before, because I was like, why does my skin need to relax?
Absolutely. I love that. But it needs to balance.
It needs
to balance. And I think that's the other thing, when your skin's producing too much oil, it can cause you a lot of problems and spots and et cetera, et cetera. And if your skin's not producing enough oil, then, that's also going to cause you problems. So the CBD can work directly with those receptors to help balance out the oil production as well. So it is an amazing skincare ingredient.
That is just, it makes so much sense hearing you explain it, and it's funny how like not many other brands actually have done that, because it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And with kind of the benefits of CBD, you've got like calm and focus, and I was like, this is interesting because I get it from a calming perspective.
Yeah.
But how can it make you calm but then also make you focus? Because I feel like they sound opposites, but maybe they're not.
I love that. Yeah, I think that the more calm you are, the easier it is to focus. And I think there's an element around clarity and focus that comes through calm. And what we've seen in a lot of the research that we've done and that other people have done is that the two are actually really linked. There's a really, really interesting piece of research around CBD for TED talkers, where they take a large amount of CBD before they go on in order to settle their nerves, let's say, or calm them down before they speak. And it really, really, really works and really helps them to then focus on what they're doing. So I think that the two do go hand in hand. And although sometimes we say, right, well, this is a product for focus, what you're trying to do with the CBD element is bring the calm. And then what we do is we add other ingredients, which also can then help with clarity and focus. So for example, if we were designing a focus roll-on, we'd be thinking about using things like rosemary or other herbs that have aromatherapy benefits that can help people focus.
Amazing. And what do you think stops people from taking CBD? Like, what's the barrier? Yeah. Like, for me, it was the unknown, I think, thinking back to my experience. And again, I was like, I don't do drugs. Why would I want that? No, thanks. But what do you think stops people? What do you find as a brand stops people from taking CBD?
100% what you're saying. It's awareness and it's education and it's feeling safe and feeling comfortable with something. And unfortunately, there are a lot of, not all CBD brands are created equal, right? Yeah. So, there are some fads that have happened through, sadly, people not putting enough CBD in products, because you do need a certain amount for your body to be able to use it. CBD has a 48-hour half-life, so you're going to lose half that amount within that time, which means that, you need to keep taking it, which means you need to love your products, you need to keep using them. It's very important to keep that cycle going, but that fear is there, and of course that fear is real, because CBD does come from cannabis sativa plant, which ultimately is, a plant which also can make you high if you take out the THC molecule. And I think that, we need a lot more education out there and a lot more awareness so that people can understand what they need to look for in a brand and where they can help themselves feel more safe around looking at the research done by the World Health Organization into the safety. There are, of course, now 2 drugs on the NHS, which are also CBD drugs for children with epilepsy. So obviously these have had the clinical trials done on them. Medical doses of CBD, not the doses we're talking about here. Even so, it helps, I think, for people to understand that it is a safe ingredient. And yeah, just get people to really check their facts. You want to go for a CBD isolate because then the CBD is isolated and that there's not going to be any other molecules in there. Make sure the strength is good enough. Your CBD is naturally released by your body, so you can't take too much. So you need to take enough to make sure it works. Keep taking it. Give yourself like a good couple of weeks. It's a little bit like a vitamin. It has to really connect in with your body. Like you really need to see how it's going to work. Lots of people say to me, we've tried your sleep drops and slept like a baby, but to be honest, the first night might be placebo, but after a few nights you should definitely be able to see the benefits.
And how does it work for those listening who might not be converted? How does CBD actually work in our bodies? What does it do for us to be calm and relaxed and focused?
So the way that it works is it supplements this endocannabinoid system that we have in our body. So it works with the receptors that we've got in our skin and in all of our organs and in our body to actually kind of buddy up to those molecules to help your body regulate itself. So basically, when your body goes into fight or flight mode, you can feel it. Like sometimes when you get really, really stressed and you're like just dealing with something, your stomach can come out of balance, or you can get like palpitations, or you can feel like you're getting a bit red or a bit like hyper. That's because your body's like got all of that cortisone racing through your body. Your endocannabinoid system has basically said, let's just shut down a few other things going on in your body so that you can focus on dealing with this flight or fight like situation. And this is something that is to do with how humans have been evolved. When we had like a tiger to deal with, we had to do that so that you could physically run away like at that speed. Well, nowadays we don't have saber-toothed tigers, let's say, but we've got all of these other demands and stresses and anxieties that we've got to deal with. So our body is in a state of shock or fight or flight too much, and that means that it's really all of your other organs and all of your other hormones have kind of been stripped of, they've been depleted. So what the CBD does is it really helps to bring those back to homeostasis or balance. So that can help with hormone production, which can obviously help with sleep wake cycles. Again, with the skin, that can help with oil production. It can help with inflammation, and that's really how it works throughout the body.
Amazing. I do think that we are now in a world where like our stress levels are so high, and stress is like the biggest killer. And it's really, really sad. You hear all these stories, and like there's no need for us to be so stressed, but it's so easy for us to be so stressed. If that makes sense. And one thing I love that you guys have done in terms of like awareness is like partner with some of the spas. I think this is really cool because, again, you might be a consumer at an OTO hotel, for example, and you go to the spa and you're seeing the products, and it's a really good way of like getting people to access it who may not have been accessing it before. So how has this been? How have spas reacted to the idea of it? Like, how's that whole process been?
Oh, that's a great question. I think that since COVID, and I know we shouldn't say the C word, but there you go. Since that, when we've come back to hospitality and spas and everything, people have got a new standard around wellness. Like you said, we've never been more stressed. We've never had more anxiety. So whereas before, I feel that people sort of went to the spa and it was like, oh, it's going to be a nice day at the spa, and maybe I'm going to have like a little facial and it's going to be great for my skin and da-da-da. now people are actually looking for transformational experiences. They don't just want it to be at the spa. They want almost like a lifestyle shift or change. They want to learn about something new, and they want to experience something that's going to really, really benefit them. So for us, it was the perfect time to be in spa, because we can offer these like 360 journeys that obviously start in the spa and immerse people in it, but also educate them around CBD and OTO and how they can use the products to really help in their day-to-day lives. So for us, spa was like an absolute no-brainer, because we can use all of our products. They can have the drinks, they can have the oils, they can have the skincare, they can walk away with a sleep drop to help them sleep. But also we can do amazing soundscapes. We bespoke all of our tools. We use live instruments in the treatment. So it's like really elevating a spa experience and saying like, how can we make this exceptional for somebody?
That's so true as well. I think also we can now do so much at home. Like you can give yourself a mini at-home facial. You
Absolutely.
can give yourself you can now do your gel nails at home if you want 100%. To with all the equipment. But I guess when you're going out and spending that money to go to the spa and have that day out, you are wanting that transformational experience.
Yeah.
So that does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And how did spas react to the idea of using that? Were spas like, oh my gosh, 100% we need this? Or were some of them like, oh no, like, how's that kind of like reaction been?
I love this. You can tell there's some juicy information.
Yeah, I'm like,
here.
God, spill the juice. I love it.
Yes, it's been challenging. I think what we found is that on a kind of therapist and the people that are working within the spas, they are crying out for it. They're like, show, we need to do something different. We need to do more. We want this. Like, this really works, and it's incredible. But obviously the education piece is still low. So then what we find is you end up with like corporate situations where it's like computer says no, this could be a bit scary, this could be a bit difficult, people don't understand it. So it can be really mixed reaction, like we can get that full on reaction of like, oh my God, no, we're not going into drugs, this is absolutely outrageous. And then we can get this, very realistic view of like, okay, we've got to be a bit careful about how we do it. We need to educate the consumer a bit more. But this is something that we absolutely need. I think for us, one of the things that was brilliant is our first spa partner was Mandarin Oriental, which just meant that, it's obviously such an incredible brand within themselves. And they obviously had done their due diligence, and that, they really trusted us and we trusted them. And that really helped to kind of set it apart and say, okay, look, we're doing this properly and this is a real thing. And it made people look up and notice.
Yeah, I guess it kind of helps with the kind of like onboarding process for consumers. Like,
Yes.
If the Mandarin agrees, and then I will too.
Yes.
It kind of gives it that kind of like certification.
100%.
I guess.
100%.
Talking of challenges, being in the CBD industry must have a lot of challenges in terms of like starting out, the legalities of it. Because like, as we've mentioned, too much of it isn't not great, too little isn't great. So as a founder starting the brand, how has it been kind of like setting up the brand and getting like around all these legal challenges?
Oh my God, it has been insane. I think we thought there would be challenges, but we had no idea as to the level of crazy challenges that we would have. Oh my God, there's so many stories. We actually once shut down the Harrods website because our CBD drops went through PayPal payment gate, and that is not allowed with CBD, so it shut their payments down on their website. Imagine how
that is
popular we were.
So this is another challenge. So CBD is not allowed to be purchased through PayPal.
Yep.
That's mad.
Yep.
Why?
Because it's banking. So it all goes back to banking, and it all goes back to American regulations. We also can't advertise CBD, so we can't use Meta.
That's hard.
Yep. We even struggle to get a bank account. I mean, how crazy is that?
Gosh, I do feel like it's a bit of a patience game in terms of like, I think it is changing, maybe.
Very slowly.
slowly. But that is just crazy because there are so many benefits. But like,
I know.
starting a business is tough enough, let alone all the challenges of people be like, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. So how have you been doing it? Like, what has been like the game changer for building the brand?
I think that we are very persistent and we very much believe in it working, and our consumers know that it works and they come back and they're very loyal, and that really, really helps. So once we get people into the brand, they tend to stick, which is fantastic. So that's really been wonderful. The challenges around education is hard without the bigger budgets, obviously, because we're a small company, really. But we, there are other bigger companies coming into the spaces, and they are helping the education piece too. So, a little bit of competition can be really good for us as well, so that it can be there. And then I think the spa piece has been really, really good for kind of that awareness and bringing things out there, because there's only so much you can control. I mean, during lockdown, we were the number one CBD brand in Hong Kong. It was huge. We were like killing it because they were so stressed, I think. And then we were like, okay, this is amazing. We need to come into the Asian market. Like, we looked at how we would go into China. We planned it all out. We were 2 days from launching in China when China made CBD illegal. So it's, there are things you can't plan for, but I think, you have to be resilient. You have to plan for what you can plan for and have plan Bs, plan Cs. Pivot is one of our favorite words. I
love that. I think also with you guys, like the branding and the rituals around the products are so nice. So it's like, this is great for your skin because of all the benefits. However, it's also got CBD in it.
Yes.
I think that's probably what's different. It's not like we are a CBD brand. It's like we're a wellness brand.
100%.
And oh, by the way, it has CBD in it. So it's also going to get those benefits too, which I think is a nice way.
Like, we wouldn't put CBD in something if it wasn't going to work. We do have products without CBD and with other incredible ingredients. We have some new fantastic products coming, which are very exciting as well. But I almost say that if you took the CBD out of our products, they'd still be amazing products because we pack them full of incredible ingredients.
No, amazing. And where does CBD come into your life? So obviously you have all these products at your fingertips, so it could literally be like every hour I'm using CBD. But like, where does it play a part? Like, what does CBD mean to you now? Where do you use it? And how does it work for you?
Yeah, it's unfortunately in every single stage of my life now. Yes, which is great. It's great for me. I get to use all of the products. I think my biggest challenge is that I'm a little bit time light. I've got 2 young boys, and obviously with the business and them, it's a little bit crazy. So I try and use the product. So our products are brilliant for me because they just literally fit into what I'm doing. I use our skincare routine in the morning. I'm obsessed with our serum. It smells amazing. If you haven't tried that one, that's one.
I need to try,
yeah, we'll get you that for sure. And then our day cream. I have quite a simple routine because I don't have that much time, but I try and take a moment during those times just to, take an inhalation with those products, or maybe do like one balance yoga move while I'm like applying something. The sleep drops and the power drops, I use both. And with the power drops, I like to put them under my tongue. Obviously, if you can leave them there for like 20 seconds, that's fantastic. You can get amazing absorption then. So, could do a little yoga balance during that time, try and bring in a bit more of the wellness. And I carry the hand balm and the ultimate balm around with me everywhere. They're like my go-to staples. I feel very sorry for my family who like, oh, I've got a sunburn. Oh, quick ultimate balm. Oh, I've burnt this. Oh, quick ultimate balm. Oh, my lips are dry. Right, quick ultimate balm.
No, I love that though. But I guess it's also making wellness really accessible, right?
Yes.
I think we had this conversation before we started recording.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much that we can be doing, but it's just making it accessible.
That's
and
it.
just easy to do
Yes.
every single day. And I guess that's what's so good with you guys. Is
I
making
think
it
that's
accessible.
true. Like there's an element of, wellness has become like work, like it's almost another job for people, which then is causing them more stress. And that's ridiculous. Ultimately, we have to start building it into our lives because they are really challenging. And so anything that's easy and that people love using and that you can just keep using for lots of different things is perfect.
Definitely. And can you overdose on CBD?
Great question. No.
Okay,
The simple answer is no. The slightly more lengthy answer is that CBD is naturally dispersed by your body. So a little bit like, in a way, if you have like far too much vitamin C, you get certain coloured pee. It doesn't come out in your pee, but it does come out. So basically you can't overdose on it. In fact, you need to keep taking it regularly in order to keep it built up in your body.
Okay, fine. So I was like, if you're using it in like your skincare, you're drinking it, you're having it under your tongue, I'm like, oh, is there like a moment where you're like, oh my God, I might be getting high in a minute?
Well, because it's an isolate, there's no chance of ever getting high. If you did, like, let's say, overdose on it, and I'm talking about medical amounts, which wouldn't be an overdose, it would still just be having too much. Probably the worst thing that would happen is you might feel a little bit tired.
Fine, yeah. Fine.
So that's not the worst thing in the world.
No, not at all. And what is the legal amount of CBD now? And like how much CBD are in your products?
So for us, when we were working out how much CBD to put in our products, it was like a major project. So at the time there was less research and less clinical trials than there are now. So we worked with we had two founders originally that were scientists and then another scientist within the team. So they worked together to look at all of the different trials that have been out there and try and work out what, for a kind of normal adult or normal person, the right amount of CBD would be in order to really try and have an effect. Because obviously, it's just worthless if you're not going to take enough for it to have an effect. The thing that's difficult is that obviously ingesting CBD is one thing. Putting it on your skin is a different thing. Those two are not going to interact with each other, so those quantities are a bit different. But from all of the research and everything that we worked out for like an average person to have a benefit from CBD, they'd need to be looking at having between 20 and about 75 milligrams a day. So we pitch all of our products within that kind of sweet spot in the middle. So basically you don't have to worry about dosing or how much you're taking. You just take the products and that delivers the amount. So for example, with the sleep drops, that's each application's got 50 milligrams of CBD, and that's a fantastic amount to be taking before you go to bed. And you just load the pipette, shoot it under your tongue, click, done, and you don't have to worry about it. Basically, it's very hard out there in the world to know what the legal amounts of CBD are. There aren't really legal guidelines out there, which of course makes it really difficult for the consumer to be able to trust the brand and understand like what's happening there. CBD was made a novel food 2 years ago, so we all have to go through that process of making sure we do all the testing and regulating it, and they put some guidelines in place. But ultimately, unfortunately, this is one where the consumer has to really understand that you need to be choosing a brand that is doing the right research in order to have the right amount of CBD in it.
No, it is so important to do the research, I think, for sure. I think that's with everything, though. I think you, as a consumer, you do need to be aware of everything that
consumers are so with it now. Like everyone has got access to so much information, sometimes the wrong information, but there's a lot of great information out there too.
Yeah, for sure. Now I want to touch on CBD and the menopause, because this is a really cool thing. Like I'm not really, obviously I'm not at that stage in my life yet, so it's not actually something that I kind of thought about, but I can so see how this could benefit. So what is the connection? How does it help? And touch on that part.
So interesting. And it's interesting you saying that, actually, because obviously, yes, you are far too young to be going through the menopause. But I think what's really struck me in my own personal life is that actually menopause is something that's going to be happening to half of the population. I didn't really know that much about it myself. Like a lot of my team didn't know that much about it. And for me personally, my sister went through the menopause really, really really early because she had breast cancer and then had to be put into medical menopause, which is very, very common apparently. And my mum, who's way over the other end of it, should have been way past it, has had the opposite effect, and now she's had to come off HRT and has got to go through the menopause at a later age. So it's been something which has really struck me as something that we need to be talking about more, and we need to like educate ourselves on. And with our products, what we found is that the menopause actually came to us. So we basically had loads of our customers writing to us saying, oh, you know, I'm looking for something to help with sleep, or I'm looking for something that helps with anxiety or focus or whatever it was. And we were recommending the products, and they were trying them and saying how fantastic they were. And we started to do some consumer groups with them. And it sort of turned out that really that these women were going through perimenopause or menopause, and that all the symptoms they were having were what they were trying to treat, but they hadn't even really realized that they were going through this because they hadn't had the education there. So we were like, oh my God, this is like a major area that we should be really looking at because we can help these people. So in terms of how CBD helps with the menopause, it doesn't help with the menopause. It helps with all of the symptoms associated with the menopause, which there are a lot of. They're all rather unpleasant. And we find that it really helps people with sleep because obviously it helps the hormone balance, which of course helps with sleep. We also find it really helps with skin. So one of the things that happens during perimenopause and menopause is because your body's like changing how it's producing oils and different hormones in the body, your skin can become really different. So you can be somebody that's had oily skin all their life and suddenly you've got like really dry skin, or you can be somebody that's had normal skin all their life and then suddenly you've got acne to deal with. And that's just horrendous. So I think, you know, that's a really interesting way that it can support the menopause. And then for stress and anxiety, you know, it's the amount of women that leave the workforce because of perimenopause or menopause is really high, and it's really, really sad. And a lot of it's to do with depression, anxiety and stress caused by the menopause. So, you know, if it can help a little bit with that, you know, take a little bit of the edge off, then that's wonderful. So for us, it's become a real focus because we can support all of these symptoms of the menopause and really help people.
So great. And it's so true. It's an area that you don't think about or look into until you're at that point. And then
I know.
It's like, why are we not
And it's a
thinking
massive
about
surprise.
this?
And you're like, this happens to everyone, but it's a massive surprise.
Yeah, oh, wow. Let me just do my research now. But it's like, we should be doing a research before
100%,
that.
yeah.
But I guess, you know, as we said, like stress is something that we all feel. And I guess, you know, all these products just help relax us. And that's just so good for the body because we're not supposed to be in a stressed state.
No.
But a lot of people operate in a highly, highly stressed state.
100%. And I think that's the thing, you know, the connection between the body and the mind is so strong. And, you know, we need to stop thinking about health as just being body. We need to think about it as being body and mind, because that's how we're all actually going to get better, really, and feel calm. And it helps our bodies and our mind.
No, completely. And what is the future of OTO? Like, where do you want to be going? What do you have in mind for the future?
I'm very glad you asked me that question.
Tell me all.
Probably going to get told off for saying this now as well. So it's very exciting. So we've been working for the last couple of years on something pretty new and pretty exciting that we're about to bring out. And so you're the first person to hear about it, which is wonderful. So obviously with CBD being this incredible ingredient that can help body and mind and skin, we wanted to look further into kind of new ingredients and how different adaptogens and different nootropics can help the body and mind and skin as well. So we've been working for 2 years now with nutritional scientists to produce our first supplement range.
Oh my God, amazing.
Yes. So we have called them Nutridaptives.
I love it.
We may have made up the word, but we love it.
Yeah, no, that sounds great.
They're going to be a perfect mix of adaptogens, nootropics, vitamins and minerals. So the idea is kind of looking really at how East meets West, how kind of these real natural ingredients that we're really starting to see all these scientific benefits for now can meet all these other incredible vitamins and minerals that we have obviously the data for, and really putting that together and creating something that's very different and very new and very powerful. So we're going to be releasing 3 NutriAdaptives. Obviously sleep, because we're obsessed with sleep.
Yeah, amazing.
Obviously menopause, because we're obsessed with menopause. And then the third one is a mushroom complex, because obviously mushrooms is something that we've started using a lot in other products that we've been doing and really seen a lot of benefits there. So that's very exciting. So the next stage of our journey is to go into supplements. And then as part of that, we're also going to be creating the first mushroom treatment in spas.
Oh my God, this is so exciting.
Yeah, which is incredible. So we've even worked on the soundtrack with Justin Wigan, who's a sound artist, to actually tune in to the frequency of mushrooms and record the sounds that the mushrooms are making. It's mind-blowing.
This is insane.
It's insane. And we've recorded that, and that is actually the soundtrack to the treatment as well. So you're kind of getting that sound therapy at the same time as obviously having the treatment. So
incredible.
It's a very exciting next stage.
Yeah, amazing. I guess it just highlights that you guys really are a holistic wellness brand. Like you're
100%
really thinking about all areas, like you're looking into all different types. And I guess also with supplements, you're looking into like, it's habit stacking.
It's inside and out. It's how do we, feed our body from the inside out and from the outside in.
And it's doing both at the same time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also like the supplements, there's like they're one capsule. Like it's taken us so long to be able to get all of that strength and amazingness into one capsule. And that was it. Like I just want to take one. I don't want to be like having to take 4 during the day or like working out. It's got to be one. They look incredible. Like I know it shouldn't really matter, but it does, because
it's part of the ritual.
Exactly. And these are the kind of things that look like a candle. You could have them in your beautiful apartment, and they'd fit in perfectly. And that way you see them, you remember to take them every day. Again, it's habit stacking. It's really just getting yourself into a beautiful wellness routine that's no work.
Yeah, I love it. And it's making that ritual of the occasion. Like it looks great. I'm going to make this into a little occasion in my day.
Yes.
Take a few seconds, take 20 seconds, or however long
100%.
it is. And just making it manageable rather than all these like long lists of things we have to do.
Yeah, I love that.
So it's amazing.
Love that.
So we have a final question, which is bringing it all back to food again, which is, what would your last meal be? Starter, main course, and dessert?
Oh my God, amazing question. Okay, starter would definitely have to be scallops wrapped in pancetta. Love that. My favourite. I think main, it would have to be some sort of Italian comfort food. Probably my mum's lasagna. Yeah, like something really hearty and amazing. And then pudding. My sister makes profiteroles. They are the most insane thing that you've ever eaten in your entire life.
Oh my God, I love that.
Definitely be them.
I love that you've got your mum's cooking, your sister's. Amazing. Gemma, thank you so much for coming on and joining me here. Like, it's been so great to hear the whole journey, get to know like CBD in a bit more detail. It is an unknown thing. It is so new, but it is so great. And you just kind of highlighted all those benefits. And it's really exciting to hear where you guys are going. And I can't wait to kind of watch you guys grow. So thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been wonderful.